All right, let's get right into it. The crypto market is absolutely on fire right now with a move that has everyone talking. But what if I told you that beneath the price charts, there's a much bigger story playing out? One that involves empires, energy, and maybe the future of money itself.
So first, let's just state what happened. Bitcoin has just blown past $91,000. I mean, for weeks, we were stuck under that 90K ceiling, and then boom. The price didn't just crawl over the line, it vaulted over it.
You know, for what felt like an eternity, traders were just watching Bitcoin smack its head against this barrier. It was a massive wall of sell orders and a whole lot of uncertainty. But now, that wall has completely crumbled, and that could signal a huge shift in momentum.
And that really brings us to the core question of this whole explainer. Is this just the market doing its thing? You know, the normal ebb and flow, the cycles we always see? Or are we witnessing the first tremor of a fundamental geopolitical earthquake that could completely redefine Bitcoin's role in the world?
Okay, so let's start with the charts. Because honestly, right now, they're telling a very confusing story. It's full of mixed signals that have a lot of traders scratching their heads.
And here's the issue. The charts are basically in a technical tug of war. If you zoom out to the long-term weekly chart, it's kind of hinting that a bigger correction could still be on the table. But then you zoom in and the shorter-term charts are screaming bullish, forming that classic beautiful pattern of higher highs and higher lows. It's this conflict that has everyone so confused.
This uncertainty has carved out a very clear battleground. You've got the bulls defending support down around $86,000, while the bears are holding the line at a really tough resistance zone up at $94,000. Bitcoin is literally trapped between these two massive forces.
And here's another curveball. After we broke 91,000, a lot of the market's fuel, those big pools of buy and sell orders we call liquidity, is now sitting below the current price. This can act like a magnet, potentially pulling the price back down to fill all those orders before we can get any real sustainable move higher.
So, if the technical picture is such a mess, what could possibly be driving this new momentum? Well, a massive geopolitical event just sent shockwaves across the globe, and some believe it's the real catalyst behind all of this.
In a ridiculously fast operation, the United States pulled off what some are calling a regime decapitation in Venezuela. The entire mission, from the moment it started to the moment it ended, took less than 90 minutes. It was described as a cyberkinetic foreclosure, a high-speed dismantling of a sovereign government. And the results were just as shocking. President Maduro captured, along with his wife, and reportedly flown to New York. The whole thing happened without any U.S. congressional approval. And now the U.S. has announced it's going to temporarily run the country, with the stated goal of setting up new elections. It's an absolutely unprecedented situation.
Okay, so this is where it gets really wild. There's this one dramatic theory that connects this entire event directly to the future of Bitcoin. It suggests this isn't just about politics or even oil in the traditional sense, it's about securing a monetary endgame for the U.S. empire.
Now, to understand this theory, you got to know about the petrodollar system. For 50 years, this has been the bedrock of the dollar's power. It's an agreement that oil has to be bought and sold in US dollars, which creates a constant global demand for them. But according to many analysts, that spell is breaking. The system is decaying.
So, the theory goes like this. The U.S. just pulled off a three-step strategy. Step 1. Seize hard physical collateral, in this case, Venezuela's huge oil reserves. Step 2. Use that control to prop up the credibility of the failing petrodollar. And Step 3, the final move, use the financial breathing room this creates to go on a shopping spree for Bitcoin as the ultimate strategic reserve asset.
As one analyst, Adam Livingston, put it, this isn't just a military operation, it's a financial one on a historic scale. The argument is that the U.S. is using a 20th century asset, oil, to finance its transition into a 21st century monetary system that's built on digital scarcity.
So I know what you're thinking. This sounds like a sci-fi movie, but do the numbers even come close to supporting such a wild theory? Let's take a look at the assets involved, because the scale here is almost impossible to wrap your head around.
The United States now effectively controls the largest proven oil reserves on the entire planet. We're talking 303 billion barrels, valued at a mind-boggling $17.3 trillion. This isn't just collateral, it's a war chest that could literally underwrite a complete reset of the monetary system. And here is where Bitcoin enters the picture. The theory alleges there's a plan, maybe detailed in a supposed Bitcoin Reserve Act of 2025, that sets a crystal clear goal:
for the U.S. to acquire a strategic reserve of 1 million Bitcoin.
And this right here illustrates the insane potential impact. After the halving, only about 450 new Bitcoins are made each day. That's it. To hit a target of 1 million BTC in 5 years, the US government would have to buy 548 BTC times per day. Their demand alone would be greater than the entire network's new supply. This would force them to buy from existing holders, creating an absolutely unprecedented supply shock.
Now, the final part of this theory is maybe the most audacious. The idea is that Venezuela's energy infrastructure is going to be repurposed for state-sponsored Bitcoin mining. The US wouldn't just be buying Bitcoin, it would be making it, turning oil directly into hash rate, into the very computational power that secures the network, all as a matter of national strategy.
So let's try to bring this all back down to earth. How does this grand geopolitical theory connect back to the market moves that we're all seeing on our screens right now?
Well, for starters, it's not just Bitcoin that's reacting. You look across the board, and major altcoins are also showing real strength. Ethereum's holding strong above 3,100. Solana's bullish divergence is playing out perfectly, and even XRP is pushing up against key resistance. It feels like the entire crypto market senses that some major catalyst is now in play.
So this really leaves us with two totally different ways to look at the market. The technical analyst sees charts, liquidity, and sentiment cycles. But the geopolitical theorist, they see state actors, hard collateral, and a global race for scarcity. One sees market noise, the other sees the market trying to front-run a global monetary reset.
And that's really the question I want to leave you with. Are we just watching algorithms and traders fight it out on the charts like they always do? Or are we seeing the very first tangible effects of nation-states finally making their move of weaponizing energy to accumulate the scarcest monetary asset humanity has ever created? The answer could change everything.